Hello and welcome to Dangerous News, where the news never happened and everything's a lie. I'm your host, Nick McQuick. Joining me as always, my co-host, Brendan Blackier. And just coming across the table, China's been cucking Canada, apparently.
Yeah. Trudy got himself in some hot water by going to the press about some behind doors conversation with Xi Jinping, and he got cucked in front of everybody.
Winnie the Ping, hey?
Winnie the Ping.
Yeah, it's fun to fuck with China.
No.
That's definitely an enemy you want.
Yeah, seeing as they now have the biggest intelligence report on all of North America through TikTok and have every means of production for the world, yes, it was a good idea for him to do that.
Do you think the NSA is upset at how good TikTok gets information?
Oh, man, the way they're able to tap into our phones and into our lives, like I was just talking about this today, actually, is like I watched one of those like red pill street interviews. And laughed at the response of a female had to like one of these men's rights issues.
Yeah.
And then I just liked it because it made me laugh. And then all of a sudden they just start feeding me in more and more and more of it.
Oh, no.
Like men's rights movement stuff. So they've obviously, despite my presence on the app, they've now put me in that portion of the algorithm of like feeding me all this like misogynistic type stuff. And it was like, holy fuck, that sure did not take long.
I remember like way back iPhone 6 days, they had it so that a guy just got a phone, created an account completely blank, and went around just talking about mops, and then like just looked and getting nothing but ads for mops.
Yeah.
Like, they're definitely listening and giving you affordable solutions to problems, and they're also creating problems.
Oh, in incredible fashion and faster than ever.
Oh, that's one of the big problems is like how fast information spreads. And if you guys want information to spread even faster, you can follow Uncle Hack on TikTok.
I am a big supporter of misinformation. That is correct.
Yeah, you were actually running in the misinformation pageant, weren't you?
Yes, absolutely. And I actually play second.
Yeah? What the fuck, second? How many times have you been banned off TikTok?
I believe I'm on my 7th account.
Jeez. What's the worst one for banning?
They all have like some sort of, I don't know. They all have like their specifics when it comes to obviously TikTok is the worst because there's like no
rhyme or reason.
No rhyme or reason. It's literally like whatever you're saying is transcribed and then they just take that for what it is. There's no. AI can't sense your tone or delivery or sarcasm, so it immediately like strike, banned, gone.
Which, it sucks to get deplatformed like that, but replatformed is Donald Trump, and using his newly gained Twitter platform again, is announcing his re-election run.
Yeah, I think this. You know what? It was refreshing seeing him again trending.
It's weird when we're talking about old men and how refreshing it is.
100%. But like when you got Joe Biden, who's like, oh God,
I keep forgetting he's the president.
Exactly, exactly, and like. I think he forgets that he's the president. Which isn't good.
Yeah.
Especially when they are our protection here in Canada,
Who's going to keep China away?
Yeah, exactly. We don't need him falling asleep behind the wheel, pun intended.
Sleepy Joe. But for me, it's weird because this is like it's a historical presidential race because if it's Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, this will be the oldest president elected ever by far.
Oh, God.
How can you have a long-term infrastructure plan if you're like on death's door? You're not going to build bridges that are going to last long.
Well, adrenochrome keeps them alive for an additional 10 years past their due date, as we've seen with the Queen.
Yep, and the Clintons.
Yeah, exactly. Hillary's actually 178.
Oh, jeez. And that's just counting children she's eaten.
Yeah, exactly.
The strange thing was when he announced it, media didn't cover it.
No.
New York, the New York Post published it on page 26.
Really?
This has historically been like the front cover. Lots of things. Was it ABC, NBC, and CBS all stuck with their previously scheduled entertainment, didn't cut away, no coverage. Do you think that like the media is trying to like, they felt guilty for the last election or?
Yeah, I think that they definitely did play a part in him becoming president. I think that they believed that by putting him out there and making him seem like a buffoon, because they're like, let's be real, like the general public in America probably isn't the most intelligent human being, but when you have somebody that can speak the way that you speak and the tone, delivery, and he's perceived as like somebody that you probably see as like a boss of any sort. He's also been in entertainment for however long that he's been.
Since Home Alone 2.
Yeah, exactly. And probably even prior to that.
Oh,
like he's had
way back.
board games in the 90s for fuck's sakes about him.
Fair enough.
So you're familiarized with this guy. You know Hillary Clinton is just a corrupt bitch. So it was like...
But she's unlikable.
Very unlikable. And again, like very tone deaf. Like Trump has a way to speak to Americans that politicians have yet to perfect.
It's when he announced for presidency and he said that it's all corrupt, and then they said, how do you know? And he goes, because I use it and abuse it. It's like, that's never been a thing like anyone said that was different. And I think people voted for Joe Biden because they're like, oh, he's so old-timey. And it's because he's from the old times.
Yeah.
He's the same age as Donald Trump. These are very old men. And like, I think the problem is a lot of the way that they were raised and grew up, a lot of the struggles they had, very different than what we have today. Like mental health, mental awareness, the way that kids nowadays can communicate, there's so much more in-depth and understanding of like subtext and like being advertised and sold to. And like these guys were growing up when saber-toothed tigers were trying to kill them. So like it's a whole other world.
Yeah.
I feel like getting older and older presidents is just getting out of touch with people.
Yeah, you're seeing like old-timey ways of lingering in like this. I don't know. It's almost like you're dusting off a Bible to hand to somebody that nobody's going to read in a way.
Yeah.
You know, like in a weird way of explaining it.
Handing off Bibles to illiterate.
Yeah, exactly. You know, those like the ways that we had even in like the 90s are far gone. It's like like now we're looking at music from the 90s as it was when we were young to music in the 70s.
30 years ago.
Yeah, man.
30 years ago. It's crazy,
It's nuts that it's so like our way of life has changed so much.
Oh, yeah. Like nowadays, mental health is way more of a problem. Like back in the day, you didn't know what all of your friends that you went to high school 20 years ago were doing with their life, and it didn't bother you.
Yeah.
And you didn't compare yourself to their accomplishments and failure. But now that's every day.
Yeah.
Like, and people aren't aware of it, and they're just snapping, freaking out. I think like nowadays, the older people get, the more they're out of touch with the problems. And I think like older and older and older presidents on either side are not the solution.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that there should be an age cap for presidents? Because, I mean, when you start getting older, you start getting reckless.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, seeing as in the past 2 years, past 2 terms, of like Biden and then you have Trump, you have such drastically different people, but then you're able to like go back in the archives and like listen to Joe Biden be like, black people are animals. You know, like I don't think that is something that you should look at and be like,
Didn't he say that at Obama's inauguration?
Yeah, he's like,
animals in the poll.
Who let the gorilla out of the cage? It's like, Grandpa, fuck. We're trying to get you as president. Like, fucking calm down. But they like try to cover up all his shit in the past. Yeah, but yet they'll be like, Trump's racist because he put some program into effect that'll give black people more money. You know, like
Yeah. Well, I think Trump is just as racist as everyone his age. He's also just, he says it, and then people are like, woo, clap, and he goes, okay, I'll keep doing this.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone else, they're like, Grandpa, don't say that.
Yeah. Look at my black American African, or whatever he said to that black guy in the crowd. And like, they just like whizzed by it, and then like the black guy was jacked. He's like, yeah, the guy I like is fucking noticing me. So, but then we take like, then it reaches the public, and we're like, that's racist.
Yeah.
You know? So it is fun to watch.
I think like with this, it's strange because they're throttling him on every conventional media. But like, how much do you think that's going to affect like actually going to the polls? Because he's got his social media back now.
I think like the whole voting system itself is rigged. Because like even with this,
You heard it here first. Elections are rigged.
Yeah. Oh no.
I want to see the contracts.
Well, like now that, now that we're going like electronic, you've seen like all those problems in, I can't remember what state. I was just watching this yesterday. One of those states in that were like really arguing, being like this, like we got
like
robbed.
Arizona or something.
Was it in Arizona?
Maybe.
I don't know. I was watching like some some town hall meetings, and people were like literally pissed the fuck off that they went in to go and vote at the location that they were told to vote, but then the electronics, like iPads that they were supposed to vote on were down, and then they had to go to over here, and then those ones are fucked up, and then
Jeez.
you got to go back over here. So they were just playing the rigmarole. So like
Just burning gas money.
yeah, 100%.
Damn.
So just like, I don't know, I think like the democratic system is like, we've gotten so far away from what it truly was meant to be.
Well, it's in a whole other thing now where it goes, we are, once again, old presidents, old style, we're not adapting. If like banks and like savings and loans, financial companies, like these industries that have billions of dollars can do their business online securely and prove who everyone is, I don't know why we can't do elections online. I don't want to put pants on. I don't want to leave the house. Let me vote from my couch.
I think the security level though is just so easy to breach, you know. So
like, but look at like Vanguard Financial has like some of the billions, some of the most richest people in the world. It has more money than countries, and they protect it.
Yeah.
And they verify every transaction, every person. Like that technology exists.
it does, but that's also like corporate interest opposed to like us in our stupid little fucking popularity contest.
Yeah.
Because regardless, you know.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Well, it's like fucking true. We go in and we think that this next guy that we put in a monkey suit that gets up there and tells us things that we want to hear is going to be our next savior and save us from the ashes like some fucking phoenix. And this guy's going to save us from taxes. But, you know, we're going to make the streets safer. We're going to do this, this, and this. But it's literally like, of course, like Vanguard Financial is going to be protected by the government. But the government's never going to protect our electoral process because it's just like it doesn't matter which way it goes. Like the corporate interest is still protected. So as long as like this system is faulty and it's broken and shattered and we believe that it's true and fair and equal, then it's exactly what big money wants.
Well, it's because politics exists and regulates business, so business tries to influence politics as much as it can. So, like, you get all these oil companies, or like, I don't know, what's a liberal one, environmental companies, and they go and they donate money to like ensure those favors. Like, what would you say is probably the best thing to do? Transparency of funds, or just like they can't get money because they're gonna get it somehow.
Oh yeah, like you're talking like politicians' pockets being lined?
Yeah, like people being bought.
Yeah, I think like with a free society like we have, unfairness has to exist. That's the whole point of having a fair or a free society. You know, corruption's going to exist no matter where it is. It's just a matter of like whether or not we can dip our toes into the game or not.
Yeah.
You know, and we have that ability. You know, of you see people all the time that can invent a product and overnight they're a millionaire, or they have they build influence over the years and they build their wealth.
Or they have a viral video.
Yeah, one viral video and ride on it for 5 years.
But like the system is broken, but it's better. Like there's less racism, there's no segregation. Like now we have way less water fountains. There's less.
That's one way of doing it. Eh? You know how we'll fucking make it all fair? We'll just take them away. Since you guys want to be all fucking.
Now you gotta share. But like there's less disease, less suffering. Social media makes you think the other way though.
Yeah.
It's so divisive. Like you were talking about, you go down a red pill or a blue pill, or you search anything politically, and it tries to shape you that way because they're fighting for your attention.
Yes.
And the best way to get your attention is to make you feel unsafe, make you feel dangerous.
Yeah, fear is the best way to control a population. That's why like all this like rage bullshit on there, keeping you angry, like, oh, men and women suck, or women these days are horrible. But it's like all you're watching is like the same 8 dumb hoes tell the same dumb 8 statements.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what makes me laugh. Like with all this, like, you know, like the red pill thing is like that makes me laugh as well, because it's another one of those like pathways that you go down and be like, oh, I'm aware, I'm awake, I see it for what it is, and it's just like, yeah, but what you're seeing for what it is just like an idiot searching for a viral hit online so that way his popularity boosts by exploiting some fucking moron on the street. And it's not like you're going to like, I'd hate to say university because that place is no better these days, but like...
YouTube University.
Yeah, pretty much. Anywhere where an intellectual is going to be hanging out. No, you're interviewing people outside of a nightclub with fucking Tiesto blasting in the background, expecting this person to give you like a logical answer.
Yeah, you know,
her tits are hanging out and her pussy's just like throbbing at anybody that has a diamond chain. It's like...
You know, I find a lot of scholastic intelligence at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday at a strip club.
Yeah, no, I can't believe that you're not getting a scholar outside of fucking some bar called Pussycats.
Yeah. Pinkies doesn't attract a lot of people that have masters.
Exactly. Drooling drunk. What's your biggest red flag? Dude, when she has a vagina. It's like, what the fuck? Or they ask, like, the one that made me laugh is like some stupid bitch is like standing there and like in whatever the latest fast fashion trend is, and then they
blackface.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much foundation face. And then they asked her,
put the base layer out of the roller.
Yeah, and get that one like stripe that looks like
like an NFL quarterback, like Tom Brady.
What was the makeup and who's the guy in Thundercats that had like the white line?
Lionel.
Yeah, it had like the contour of that going on. And then asked her like, "What's your biggest red flag?" And she's like, when he lives with his parents. It's like, oh, so everybody up till they're like 25 these days? Because housing costs fucking $2 million?
And that's the thing, too. We're talking about like the older generation. Like when Joe Biden bought his first house. Think of that.
Yeah. I bought it with a nickel.
They just invented Windows. Like the door was the next year. Yeah. So it's so weird to think of how affordable it was, how different it was, and like... any experience they have becomes less and less relevant. And it's so strange because now housing's wildly unaffordable.
Oh man.
And I'm a little bit older than you, a couple of years. But like even then, I remember before 2007 houses, and like after like 2009, it was insane, man. I was like, oh, now you cannot build yourself up from nothing.
No.
It's like unobtainable anymore.
It's harder than ever, man. Even to buy housing in like rural Canada and rural America is like ungodly.
Well, it went from like $60,000 to like $260,000, and now we're like flirting with 7% interest. Or yeah, what is the Bank of Canada interest? Well, either way, it's way up. But it's getting to a point now where if you're young, you're just like, oh, I guess that's the thing, not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. Some giant financial, what do you call them? Purchasing groups that come in?
Oh, equity funds.
Equity funds is just going to buy up all the land and all the housing, and we'll rent forever. Just like that whole
That'll be the new normal.
It is. It's like, it's really leaning that way. Like all these conspiracy theories that you heard 2 years ago, like you're going to own nothing and be happy. I really, like, it's looming over us, and we refuse to believe it's real, even though it's like happening. Like BlackRock, that giant, they're
equity.
like buying up all this swath of land and property, and they're just having a giant rental company. And yeah, you're literally going to own nothing.
Well, just think that painted whore of Sodom with her fucking caked on makeup is going to be like, oh, he lives with his mom. And it's like, soon everyone will.
Yeah, dude.
Because mom bought a house.
Yeah, you're waiting for mom to die. We're like immigrants in our own country, just like coming over, and the whole family sticks together.
There's a lot of stuff about like the white advantage over the black people and like inherited wealth and stuff, and now it's getting harder and harder to inherit wealth because like if you think back, oh, this was grandfather's house, and then mom got it, and then the grandchild had a drug problem, and the house is gone. Like, if there's one little speed bump on that line of succession, it's just gone. And it's not like now it's gone to your neighbor. No, now it's gone to a company with a big mahogany table and a hammer, and they do what makes them more money.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
the wealth gap is like... That's it. That should be like the most concerning
The wealth
part.
gap you could fit Lizzo through.
Oh, yeah. and still have room.
Wrote that in my head. So, with Trump coming up, Biden going up, whole world looks all doom and gloom. China's stealing our information. Canada's shaken. What do you think is the smart move for the good of Canada with the U.S. upcoming election?
Antagonize Putin to press the button.
Well, I don't know, because like, who do you think would be harder for Putin then? Biden or Trump?
Oh, definitely Trump.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that Trump would...
Didn't they seem buddy-buddy? Weren't they like...
Yeah, I think that there was a mutual respect between the two.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Gotcha,
like how they approached one another. You can tell by body language that there was like a mutual respect. And then they're like using that against Trump right now. Is that like, because Russia certainly wasn't, you know, kicking at the fucking can when Trump was in office. I mean,
Crimea was annexed, but
yeah, okay, yeah.
they took a part of a country.
Fair enough. Okay.
More than kick a can, more like rob the shopping stuff.
I forgot that. My bad. Yeah. Don't dox me in the comments, or don't destroy me in the comments. Not dox.
I think there was some respect there, if nothing else, for his unpredictability.
And I think, like, Trump's business brain would see that if there's an energy crisis in places like Germany, that's a really good way to export more American oil and try and wean, you know, other than the Saudis stepping in, or like some sort of trade deal.
Yeah.
That I think he would see more opportunity than self-sabotage.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't even know what Joe Biden sees.
Ice cream.
Cataracts. Just a big blur.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, that's going to do it for this episode.
All right.
Just talked about the one thing. Where can people find you?
Uncle Hack 69 on Instagram.
And also if you want to check out any of his shows, dangercatshop.com.
Yeah.
As always, I'm Nick McQuick. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Ahmed the comic. Like, favorite, and subscribe. With 5 stars. I don't know how this works.